everybody laughing and carrying on, because we all know that's the way Ryan was. I met him in 1987. Yeah, I know. So I had known him, and we were very best friends for a very, very long time. In today's world, everyone has the ability to scatter across the globe and still keep in touch with your friends and loved ones. Where in a world past, we would be on the road only for special occasions, we can now travel where we want to. We can visit where we want and study where we want. We also have a unique ability, however briefly, to be able to travel to new worlds and situations as actors, or patrons, all revolving around that magical world we call the stage. For some of us, the stage is the classic theater, with an audience facing the stage, lights and curtains at the ready. The curtain will open, the actors will reveal a portion of their lives. For others of us, there's a special world that we call the Renaissance Fair. Not that special. There are no curtains, there are no cues. There are characters, to be sure. There's makeup and costuming, but instead of placing our guests as an audience, we let them surround us. It's a unique form of interactive theater in the round. And for any of you that have been there, it opens at 10 o'clock in the morning and it closes at 7 in the evening. When I do mean theater in the round, I mean all day. All of us that knew and loved Ryan knew that any time the word theater was involved, he was there. He loved acting in any form, whether it was the football announcer at college, backstage helping a costume, gathering up props, or something as simple as serving a beverage to a patron. Serving a beverage, I can hear you snickering. How is this acting? If you've been to a Renaissance fair, you'll know that the outside world changes the moment that you step through the gates. People in costumes of the era of King Henry VIII talk to you. They sit beside you, they sing with you, they share a dance. Even the bartenders are caught up in the magic. Wenches and rogues will serve you an ale with a saucy smile, a funny quip, a fare thee well. Ryan attended Scarborough Fair for many years, starting in 1987, always in costume, even if it were borrowed clothing. As with other aspects of theater, fair gets into your blood. It becomes a part of you. Everyone on cast, the lane acts, the stage acts, the booth workers, they all become your family. We call them family. You'll see that on Facebook. We keep talking about our family. That's us. He enjoyed working at the various pubs or the souvenir wagons. I think he actually worked every single pub that Scarborough had over the years. Not just a person working a booth in a shirt and a funny hat, he always created a persona. There's a job fair that they hold for people to be the booth workers. And then there's the ones they invite back to come to the pubs, because those are the places where the most people gather. And that's where they like to see people that really, really enjoy working. So whether it was as his Chevalier Danceny, or his Guinness Jim, or as an Irish lad, and I think it was Charles Patrick Ryan something or other, O'Flaherty, or what's his name? He was named after his uncles, all of them. He stepped into character as readily as any of the lane performers. I made many of his fair costumes, his steampunk outfits, his wizard's robes, his Star Trek outfits. He was a true actor with a love for finding a new way of expression, not just in gestures and the lines, but by dressing as and becoming the character. He opened his arms to fair and lamented the years that he could not join us on the weekends. He carried his love for the theater and fair on his sleeve as we carry our hearts on our sleeves. Who can ever forget his booming laugh, his witty remarks, quick as a flash? Or perhaps you remember one of those special moments, memories of a day where the rain came in sheets, waves of water lapping over the ground. 50 people crowded into a tiny space under the eaves of the captain's pub. We were joined by a troubadour. Ryan was behind his counter at the pub and I was sitting on top of the counter. And we let a pub sing. We were laughing and entertaining in spite of the resemblance of everyone there to drowned rats. His lightning improv skills led to the creation of a character that I played at Fair for well over 20 years. I owe her development, you may see this in my Facebook page, Captain Marga, to his dedication and support. She wasn't Captain Marga before, but one day in parade as I was passing by the pub window, he went, "Hello, darling, I bought you a ship. You're a captain." And I went, "Hello, darling, what?" Took a couple of days for that to sink in, but that was the evolution of a character. It was just a flying improv bit. But I played that character for nearly 20 years. He was a rock and a pillar to many of us for many years, no matter which stage that he was on. On a little bit of a personal side, he was a very dedicated family member. He had a goddaughter, my daughter Mariah. The look of joy that he held her for the first time is never to be forgotten. But there were those gleeful moments at Fair when we would plunk a tiny little winged fairy down on his pub counter, crouch down behind the counter and go, "I want a peach Bellini." And then he'd turn around and see her, and that laugh would issue forth, and people in all of the lines all around him would turn to see what was so funny, and then they'd be caught up in that same joy from his laugh. Though not always filled with joy, all of our lives are books, or libretti, or scripts. The scripts aren't written out beforehand. We all make our mark and set it down as we go. These books are meshed with our souls, and we all have chapters in our lives and characters that make fleeting appearances, or that are the central plot and the outline of our life. Some of these books are worn and tattered. Some wear costumes from an era long past, ones that are fanciful and created for worlds that never existed. They might involve the velvets of a chevalier, the vest of a pirate, the wand of a magician, the uniform of a police officer, the robes of a green-blooded, pointy-eared alien, or nothing more than a G-string. When someone leaves us, the pages in our book feel as if they are ripped away. A skilled bookbinder can put the page back in the book, but there'll always be a scar. My book is worn and ragged, the pages mundanely mended with paste glue and tape. A character in my book has ended, but the memories are set down forever. A former co-worker of Ryan's told me a story about Ryan's book. She told me she often asked this question of people. If you were to write a book about your life, what would it be called? "I got this," Ryan said, and he sat forward eagerly in his chair. "Soldier Leg of Mutton, Stage Left." Only he knew what that title meant to him. But all of us that know him can find a thread in our memories of him that can relate. We won't be able to see volume 2 of Ryan's novel. These chapters are ended. The curtain might rise for Act 2, but he will not take the stage this time. The pubs will miss his laughter, and we of the Fair, however, have no doubt that his presence will remain. There's that famous quote that all life's a stage and all of us are merely players. We all love our stages. We all love our share of acting. We love his love of acting. Being a character on that stage, immersing yourself in a role. I know personally that as I continue at Fair, I'll see someone from the corner of my eye that will look like Ryan. Or in the crowd, I'll hear a laugh, and that will remind me of him. When we close down, I will look to the parapet at sunset and see those who have passed before us and still looking down on the family affair and being a part of it. It's what we live for, it's what we do, and it's where we always return. When we close down Fair every night, the cast gathers at the parapet and we sing a song called The Parting Glass. For many a year, it brought a tear to my eye as I recall those who had left us too early. Once again, I know that there will be a catch in my throat and a gleam of tear in my eye when I'm called on to sing this tune in the spring. Of all the comrades ere I had, they're sorry for my going away. And of all the sweethearts ere I had, they'd wish me one more day to stay. But since it falls unto my lot that I should go and you should not, I'll gently rise and softly call, good night and joy be with you all. What an exit, my dear one. Rest well. Close book. Exit stage left.